Crap, I don't know how to way to pause this. Okay, I can pause with this. Okay, I got this. Welcome to the review, or the start of the review, of the Klipsch RF7 version 3. So, people have demanded this review. Ever since I did the KLH 10s way back, the ones that were like, these were their flagship towers, oh my God, they got 10-inch drivers, Well, Klipsch saw that review and was like, would you happen to be interested, stroking beard, in reviewing the biggest towers we make? Not the biggest speakers they make, mind you that. Klipsch makes speakers that actually look remarkably like this stack here, I'm just realizing, with the horns on top, and then there's like, that's odd. And these are not those, that's sort of like the Heritage series. Those are the speakers that we're making the exact same copies of since like 1908. That's a lie, but you get the picture. It's like, that's the same speaker. You get anything from that line. I'm trying to remember any of the names of any of them, but I'm like, no, I don't want them. I don't want to want them, so we're just going to ignore what's going on. So these, Zeos, make sure you put 3.5 gemstones in the title, because this is $3,600 a pair. But they did have to arrive on an 18-wheeler and get loaded off on a pallet because they're 135-ish pounds a piece. I'm not sure if that's in the box, without the box. I don't think the cardboard really matters that much. These are lean-in speakers. I am leaning on them. I'm pretty sure if I hit them with the car is going to incur more damage than the speaker costs. That's a good balance. That's a judgment now. If you hit your speaker with a car and the car gets a little dent and the speaker's destroyed and the speaker's worth $500, the car. So let's go with that. That's good. That's a good system. Powering these is actually these. The Takirdis. I just had the unboxing come out and everyone was trying to explain how to say this. Saxcardis devices, Achilles tube amps, because everyone's always told me, again, no, you can't do Klipsch on solid state. What are you, a noob? You have to do Klipsch on tubes because they're so efficient and they just, and they do And I did notice when I switched from the little Emotiva mono blocks, which I was just using out here, randomly because I don't have like high-end amplifiers to use on these things, I did notice a substantial difference in the way that these react to sound. Belfast wallpaper available in the description. Worthy of the Belfast wallpaper. So these dual 10s, and not the biggest horn I've ever seen because I own Studio 590s, but holy God, that is still like, and this is all rubberized. I mentioned this in the review I did of the RP150Ms, was the first time I saw this. The RP150Ms are like the first speaker that gave me that like, oh, Klipsch can actually do something amazing. Instead of just, oh, Klipsch is all highs and it hurts and bass and ooh. They had a slightly better reputation when I started doing these reviews than like Sur and Vega. But now this is serious. This driver with the rubberized coating, I would say construction, but it's more like engineering. The base they're built on is slightly higher in the front than the rear. I actually put the domes, the Soundrise domes, underneath them because I can actually walk them around with a little bit of the jiggle, and I didn't want them messing up. Like these big boys. Now I can judge them sitting here in my I guess this is called, this is a punching bag. This is called the great room, according to the circuit panel, and wait, I'm going to turn it on with a remote control that can actually pause. It's Ready Player One. Not a great OST. Prodigy. Which song is this? Roadblocks. I don't even know this song. Oh, it's from The Day Is My Enemy. God, I don't miss Prodigy because it doesn't feel like they're gone, but the lead guy is gone, and that's the saddest news you've heard on YouTube today, isn't it? You know, he went away. When I did the other set of Klipsch, the KLH 10s, I think there were the 10s and the 12s, so they were one of the higher end series. When I did those, they beat the other speakers I had heard up here. And I've heard multiple speakers up here since then. And what makes a big speaker win in a big room is just simply, it's the same reason why walls lose to big trucks. You just drive it right through it. It's like, do you have aerodynamics? No. Do you have finesse and steering and hand? No. Truck. Straight through the wall. And these are up here no different. That's why I said this is only the first half of the review, or the introduction to the review, because I don't want to judge these speakers just up here in the room. They look fantastic. I got a turntable. I've got the Cowboy Bebop album, which, by the way, I will link to this in the description, because holy shit, if nothing but for the artwork, you should own the Bebop album. I would put it on, but I'd have to switch wires and things because I don't have a really good system here. But this felt, for the first time, like this house is now, oh shit, this is high end up here. This is high end. Because you could play these at a whisper. Let me say it again, whisper. And why am I putting so much emphasis on the H? I don't know. Garfunkel. Can't go wrong with Simon and Garfunkel. I mean, you can absolutely if you're trying to like get into a fight. Simon and Garfunkel, probably not the best choice. But the word is effortless because they're so big and so powerful that I could open those doors way back there and just walk out to the backyard, and then I could put these on in a whisper and I'd probably still hear them perfectly clearly. They project just as menace. I guess the word I'm trying to go with is menace. These are the Imperial Star Destroyers of the audio world, until you get into like the stupid ones that are the size of the fucking chimney and they cost $70,000. Because, yeah, there's 3 gemstones in the title, but $3,600, which is $600 more than the Klipsch Heresies, which, by the way, are the ones I'm using down the basement. Those Heresies, amazing. Dual horns, 12-inch driver. But they needed the horns turned down, and they had no low end. Despite them saying they had low end, they had no low end. These are the biggest speakers I've heard from Klipsch that are the complete package. These have the lows, the highs, the mid-range. I'd like to point out something else too. If you look in the horn, if you look in the port, which is exactly the same size as you know where you get your sandwich deposits. I always see that. I think it's a Japanese thing. Is there a place in Japan where you like order a sandwich and it comes out of a slot like this? If you look in there, you could see the wood, and what the wood is doing is it's going in and it's curving up. This is 2 separate chambers, lower and upper. And I don't think they are breaking this up into a 3-way design. I think it's still a 2-way design, but they've individualized and compartmentalized the top and bottom. That's why if you look, these 10-inch are directly in the middle. So you get literally a dedicated subwoofer with a dedicated subwoofer on top of it, and then, by the way, there's a horn. And somehow they still managed to put out the creamy mid-range, the things that vocals come out of. Here, hold on. Let's see if I can get... I should probably describe the rest of the setup for you because it's a little bit odd, and I'm going to get hate mail probably, and you can go to Hi-Fi Guides, the forum, and complain. But I'm trying something new because I was using... What DAC was I using up here? I had the SU9 for a while, and then I was trying to use that one, the Musician Pegasus, the R2R DAC. And then I had this urge to be weird and different, just to try something. Because, you know, if I could do something for cheap, and there'll be an entire dedicated video to this, but I'm using two DACs, two completely separate DACs, two completely separate cheap DACs. I've got the R2R, not the R2R, the Pi2 AES back there, which is the Wi-Fi receiver. I've got the adapter put onto it so I get two coaxial digital outputs. They get fed into these, what? Hi, Boopers. What the hell's your model number again? Why can't I remember things when I eat it? Oh, the Sanskrit. Right, God, it's the fucking Sanskrit. I'm like, is it I keep thinking there's numbers. That's two of the new 10th anniversary Sanskrits. One in blue, one in red, and you could rotate them opposite because there's the screen flips. And I'm literally dedicating this left DAC to left channel. I'm then dedicating this right DAC to right channel, and the remote control operates them both at the same time because it just does. And we'll go over that more in the future video because there's something to it. And I know what people are going to say. Let me get that out of the way. Oh, Zeos, but the clock sync is out so that they'll never probably produce sound at the exact same moment. Well, as long as it's consistently out of sync, you could adjust that with a slight movement of the drivers. But it does something to make the width up here just... so I've got the Pi2 AES feeding from the Wi-Fi there into two DACs, individually feeding two monoblock tube amps, which, by the way, these Achilles are also, I think, $3,600 for the pair. So take your pick, how much you want to spend on amazing sound and looks, because that's like... Oh, by the way, the white wire I'm using, totally a Z-wire. I made those years ago. I used to try to sell them. Man, did I undercharge. I wanted like 125 a pair. I wouldn't make those for you right now for 500. They're a hand-breaking work. Anyway, where was I? Separated top and bottom chambers with... And the thing is, they didn't have to curve the wood on the inside, but they're controlling the sound. They're controlling the way the waveform is looking and working. It's one of the most beautiful. Go look at the interior designs of this online. Just see, it just goes, oh, it goes up, and it goes right into the bottom of the driver. Do you mind? She totally doesn't mind. Anyway, so up here, these are the most impressive speakers I've heard. Up here, in this space. What's gonna really be the tell is when this video cuts in about 60 seconds, and we lose Belfast, and we end up in my review space, in my little, like, on my basement. I feel bad bringing these down there, not just for my back, but for like aesthetical reasons. Like this is beautiful. This is it. This is the American dream. This is the audiophile dream. This is the thumbnail. It's like, oh fuck. Oh fuck. But the acoustics up here are not good enough. I can't give you the final assessment of these speakers in this room. That would be cruel and unusual punishment. Because I love them here, but I want to know if they're capable. And I won't know that till they're in a treated space. And my basement, as much as you don't think it's treated, is amazing sounding. So, I'll probably bring them down there, use them on a solid state amp, then swap to the tubes, and then these tubes are going to get a separate review. I might hook them up to the DT880 600 ohm just for shits and giggles, just because, oh, I could tube them with speaker amps. And, oh, by the way, these amps I think are 8 watts a channel. 8. 8. And I'm not even loud.
It crept up my spine like first rising vibes of an acid frenzy.
My God.
All these horrible realities began to dawn on me.
Just Johnny Depp is there, and he's high as shit. All right, let's move downstairs. I want to hear these more, but... Oh, wait. Why do you do this to me? Why can't anything just be perfect for like the big ending finale? There's a Megalobox song that I want to just hear. For anyone who's watched the anime Megalobox, it's Rocky 1 through 4 in an anime with better music. The theme of Glenn Burrows. There we go. So that's the most base murder theme I got. And Let's move. Tourist, wait. All right. Let's finalize this review because now they're down here and out of that godforsaken echo chamber that I call a great room, or whatever the fuck the circuit box has it labeled. So, to answer the age-old question, which one is bigger? 590 is still taller. However, the 590 is deeper too. But as far as like volume, I think this is going to win because it's a square and that's sort of like a trapezoid. That's the word I couldn't remember in that other review where I was trying to think of like not a parallelogram, but trapezoid. Should have remembered trapezoid. Several things have happened since I brought them down here. I had a friend who brought them down here with me. The same friend who loaned me the big Klipsch previous like 10-inch giant monster speakers. That was the whole, you know, getting the ball rolling to having these sent to me by Klipsch. Because everyone was like, oh my God, I want those. Zeos, you should get the new RF7s. So now he showed up to help me move them down so I didn't die on the stairs. And we hooked them up. And I originally hooked them up upstairs. I was running them originally off the Emotiva monoblocks. Then we upgraded from the Emotiva monoblocks to these Tuxedo devices. I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure. Yes, the tube amps that are linked in the description. We went from these to these. So now coming down here, I originally hooked it up to just the Behringer A800. By the way, more Belfast wallpapers. Just this is a Belfast episode. To the A800, which is the Class D, super lightweight power amp. And I'm feeding everything with the Songcause SGD1, which is a dual mono power supply DAC. And it was fine. It was fine. We were sitting down here. I was like, wow, the acoustics here are so much better than upstairs. These speakers sound great. Turn them up. And then I was sitting here with him. And we were taking turns in the master seat. And they were closer. And we were like, you know what? We have to rearrange the whole basement. So we started moving just stuff. Everything had to get the fuck away so we could slide those speakers back. And you know what? I want to move back even more. The problem being that there's this like 6-inch steel column here, which I guess I could just unbolt it. I'm sure it's not doing anything. Just unbolt maybe both of these and then I can move my chair to like here. Because I just want to get away from these speakers. That's what I was telling. We agreed that like, God, I wish we could move further back. And it just happens so that the windows in the basement, and I'm OCD, and it has to be in the middle of the windows is the center. I mean, I could just move it here and then you have space. But, so move the speakers back as far as we could. Went from the A800 to the tube amp again to see if that would sort of quell the intensity of the sound, because tubes do that. Well, upstairs, the tubes made the speakers sound better. Down here, the tubes made the speakers sound not worse, but like they brought you... All right, let me explain how this works. Those are 8 watt per channel tube amps, which is plenty for low range, quiet listening, where you're just like, just let me feel. Sipping brandy, smoking an imported illegal cigar, that sort of like music listening. Tubes are fine. But let's fucking kick it up. I want to hear deadmau5. I want to rock and roll. So going from the A800 to the tubes meant we were pushing the tubes harder than they should have been pushed to try to achieve the same volume level. And these are super fucking efficient. And they got close in volume, but it was changing the shape of the sound real bad. Because just as you're pushing it harder and harder, all of a sudden, which part of this do you think is easier to drive? The horn. The horn is easier to drive, obviously. It's a horn, and those are two 10-inch drivers. So as we were pushing the tube amps, we started skewing towards that old Klipsch sound. You want to know what old Klipsch sounds like? Stress the shit out of like some amplifier that's like, and it'll just turn these into murder cannons. So like, all right, stop. We need to fix this. I need to fix this. I want to hear these at their absolute peak. And if we walk over to this side of the basement... No, I'm not finishing it. Yes, I might seal the floor and walls. Don't ask me to put walls up anywhere else, though. It's fine. Here is where my Klipsch heresies live. Hello, baby. Hello, Danny. Danny, linked in the description. Everyone needs a Danny DeVito to watch over them, like a shrine or some sort of religious thing. When I reviewed these, which are cheaper, $600 cheaper than those, my biggest complaint was that it wasn't a complete speaker. It couldn't do low end, and when you turned it up, the treble killed you. So what I did to solve that was take the bridges out of the back, which, oh, my friend who was the one who was obsessed with Klipsch wanted to lodge a formal complaint that those speakers, which are their top of the line in the reference class, don't have these beautiful anodized aluminum terminals on the back of them. These have the beautiful anodized terminals. Those have standard like red and black plastic home theater terminals, which is kind of strange. And we have to talk about them for a second because someone in Hope, Arkansas was doing a little drinking. It's a little bit too much drinking. And so the next step we did was like, all right, I did it with those speakers. I fixed those speakers for the sort of listening volumes I wanted and to control it by biamping them. And I talked about it in that video, and I'll talk about it a little bit here. The back terminals of every one of these high-end speakers, you Sprees have it, you don't have it. Even though you're high-end, you don't have it. But they have it, you don't have your self-powered. I don't have many speakers to point at right now. But basically, big towers have bridges that look like this. And they go between two identical black and red terminals. So black to black, red to red. And what they do is they connect. And when you have them in, you put one speaker amp, plug it in, and one channel of 1 amp does the whole speaker. When you take these bridges out, you then have 4 terminals, one for the treble and one for the bass. So the goal was, let's biamp this so I could put this on a separate controllable entity from these. Because this way when we turn it up, it doesn't kill us, because we wanted to turn it up. And we've accomplished that goal. It took a little bit of fidangling, because the SGD1 has RCA outs for these, which only have RCA ins, and it has balanced outs for the Behringer, which has balanced ins. And we're using the Behringer A800 to run the 10-inch drivers, because that's a powerhouse. And we're using the much more finite and refined tube amp power for the treble, which is fine because the treble is, again, easy to drive. And we had to balance it by turning that down, and then these don't have a volume knob, so we turned it up and we matched it. So we found where we were happy and we were good. Now I have the ultimate experience with these Klipsch RF7 IIIs. The thing I need to talk about the person who was drinking in Arkansas, because these are built in Hope, Arkansas, is when I first hooked this speaker up to biamp it, the weirdest shit happened. Had the tube amp going, right? The tube amp has fixed volume, and we started turning up the knob on the Behringer. And for some reason, the treble kept getting smaller and smaller as we turned up that knob, which was hooked up to the drivers. And I'm like, what? And he's like, what? And we went, what? And then we realized the only way that you can subtract volume with an amplifier that's not hooked up directly, scissoring to the channels, is if the amplifiers are touching each other, which they shouldn't have been, because I know how to plug wires in, but someone in Hope, Arkansas didn't. And literally the terminals are like here. I will take the camera off my head for you guys. This is a correctly wired speaker. Do you see this set of speaker cables for the treble? This set of speaker cables is for the low end. On this one, which took us a minute to figure out before I blew something up, the top and bottom ones here, it's very dark, are for the low end, and that loosened up. In fact, all these are loosened up. Tighten that. And the middle two are for the treble. So, look, I'm an American. These are made in America. I'm very proud of that fact. And as an American, I apologize for those being wired out of just completely wired weird. The bridges in place, it didn't matter because it was still red to red and black to black. But when you took the bridges out, you now have to figure out that the top two were the bass and the middle two were the, so someone just did it wrong. But it works perfectly fine. We didn't blow anything up because I would have been pissed if we blew something up. But it's like, I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. And you know what? Here I'm going to call that bastard out on camera. Because these were checked by Victor Balmer. Yes, tested by Victor Balmer. Balmer? Serial numbers and everything. So he got that one right. Or maybe they test with the bridges in and then it's not his fault. But I would think that if you're going to test these speakers in a final, like with your name signed on it, you would have been like, all right, bass drivers, treble, I install the bridges. So that one's backwards. So that's my little rant on that. But you know what? Nothing. What do you want for $3,600? Gold? Copper? You get copper. Back to music. Remember when I was listening to music? So now that we are off of the fixing of the issue here being, holy shit, those don't have enough power to push to the volumes I want, and that amplifier I wanted to, I wanted to get away from it. I wanted to, even with that amplifier, like it was still like a lot. It was still a lot. So now that we've got it all perfectly balanced, so now that the treble's being taken care of by the tubes, we've got a solid state for the 10-inch. If I hit next track and I skip forward, that's filter. It could never be the same. These are the John Wick of speakers. And by that, I mean, I just want to watch John Wick. Because that entire soundtrack sounds like it's perfectly made for these speakers. For that intense, impactful, just giant sound. Or gentle flutes and violins. Now you could do gentle flutes and violins with just the tubes if you wanted to. If you're not like insane and you want to blast it, you'd be fine with any amplifier you want. But if my friend was like, no man, you gotta watch a movie. You gotta sit here, you gotta put this TV on, you gotta watch a movie. And you can, and if you want to blast it, you're gonna have to consider, I miss when speakers used to have knobs on the front. I didn't live through that generation where there was literally selection, like how much treble do you want? There was like a 3-way switch. These would severely benefit from that. So would the Heresies. And it would fit the Heresies, just because when you start putting it up, again, the treble runs away with it. The crossover can't keep it down. Everything Klipsch is almost too efficient. When you lock a speaker down with inefficiencies, it sort of keeps that level all the way up from the lowest power to the highest power. You get the same sound signature. And what I've noticed now having two of the best Klipsch speakers, two of the best speakers I've ever heard, these and the Heresies, have the same exact issue. The harder you push them, the more out of sorts they get. And you gotta like sort of like give them the reach around and do, okay, I'm gonna biamp them now. So, which is not saying much. You don't have to spend $1 million on amplifiers to do what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if you're gonna push them real hard and you find the trebles a little bit too much, maybe you take those metal bridges out and you put a little resistor in line. I don't know how you would, what the values would be or something, but you could definitely just tone that treble down 4 or 5 decibels when you're at volume, and you'll be a very happy man or woman. Oh my God. All right, this is from the Konosuba movie. Is this from the movie or is this a show? I don't remember. I just want to sit in this seat from a Volvo and just listen to music. I wish I had a footrest tall enough because that thing's sort of like, it's just pushing it. But now that it's been like sorted, just gently, just like take the treble out, put it somewhere else, give me a little more of this to balance it. Oh, fuck. These speakers sound like they look down here. Upstairs, they did their best. And when I put the tube amp on and pushed them up, you know what happened? The highs went higher, just like it did down here. But upstairs in the giant echo chamber, the more piercing the highs were coming out of the speaker, the more locatable it was in that giant echoey fucking hellhole. So you kind of want severe treble up there. You want it to like project a laser beam into your eyes, so it's like, oh, there's the right speaker, there is the left speaker. But down here where there's treatment, where it's calm and nice, and there's no reverb, you start to notice it's like, oh God, you need to calm the fuck down. And this has done that. Now, I don't want you to think I'm telling you, well, you shouldn't buy these because you have to do all this work. You should absolutely consider buying these. I'll just skip through some tracks. That's Breathing. When Darkness Appears from Epic Score. That subwoofer is not on, by the way. It's not powered, nor is the RCA's plugged in. This is just 410s, just... I don't know if you could hear that. I'm pretty sure I can play Epic Score without worry about copyright protection or getting demonetized, because it's like a thing that's put out for people to use in video games. It's like open source. Let's see what World Domination sounds like, or I can mess it up completely. World Domination, no vocals. Let's do it. Oh. Yeah, if I was going to play myself hero music, it'd be on RF7s. RF7 IIIs. RF73s. They are a big fucking speaker. In fact, they're next to the also tall, also huge JBLs. However, you have to remember, and I put these covers on so that it wouldn't be distracting. God damn it, I hate these covers. Oh, by the way, there's covers for these speakers. I didn't put them on in the original part of this video, and I didn't even bring them downstairs, because why the other than to just cover them for shipping, why would you ever? And they're magnetic, so it's great. Unlike these fucking, how many pegs? 6 pegs and a hook? Yeah, those are only an 8-inch. That's dual 10s. There is a mild difference in actual, like, holy fuckness when you put these speakers on. So these make these, this has a horn that's actually twice the diameter of this horn, but these have much, much smaller drivers. So if you want to talk about which one's which and who's playing what and who's on third and I don't know, and yeah, no, dual 10s tends to be a lot. Now the ones back in the day that were related to my friend's set, those had dual 12s, and frankly, I think that's hilarious. The Heresies back there are running a 12-inch, but the Heresies back there running a 12-inch mid-range, which is, again, strange. And I think it works for those because of dual horns and then a 12-inch, and then I have a subwoofer. This has to work, and this does work as a single, solitary, solo speaker. No subwoofer needed. You don't really need tube amps. It just works. It just plugs into any home theater receiver you've got and will work because they're super fucking efficient. You don't have to worry about like, oh, I only have a $350, standard Denon receiver. Can I run these? Yes. Yes, you can. Because efficiency is king when it comes to home theater receivers. And these are the most, I guess it's some of the most efficient speakers. Do they actually say on the back? 250 watt maximum, 8 ohms. I don't think they say the efficiency. I think the efficiency's got to be in if it's not 3 digits, if it's not over 100, it's damn close. Which is why the tubes can just do that, and this can just do that, and I can push it to fucking absurdity. That brr, that like brr, like the, I can't describe it to you. Like I just did these speakers. The Esprits came off the line like 3 or 4 days ago. And then I replaced them with this. And these are fucking beautifully refined speakers right here. And then these try to do low end. Try. They're pretty successful in a small room. Down here, lots of space, lots of air to move. Not so successful. But you throw a sub on if you're doing something absurd. These speakers. Ooh. Just ooh, because my word, can they move a lot of air when they feel like it? I don't know what this is doing. Splinter Cell OST. Washington by Night. That's just like it's not even playing loudly. Like it's turned up. Don't get me wrong, it's turned up, and this is a quiet song. But I'm just gonna. Can I do that again? Can I back that up and just one more time? I want to just. Yeah, this whole corner of the basement is breathing. It's just breathe. I kind of wanted to watch Reign of Fire, which is the dragon movie with Batman and Leonidas. It's Batman and Leonidas versus dragons. Reign of Fire. Go watch it. R-E-I-G-N. Rain, like rain men, like rain in the horses. It's a great movie. No one saw it. Oh my God, Matthew McConaughey's in it. I would say his character name, like a famous character Matthew McConaughey played, but he just plays Matthew McConaughey in every movie. Only he's the most badass Matthew McConaughey in that movie. I want to hear dragons on these speakers. More than any other speaker. More than the 590s. The 590s big. Honestly, the 590s weigh nothing compared to these. Like the 590s when you're tapping them. Sounds like a pretty hollow box. When you tap on these. Like. I could tell you, you know how I could tell you they're better built? My back hurts real bad from moving these, and I could just pick those up if I really wanted to and walk down the steps. So they're better braced, bigger drivers. They're just more speaker than the 590. The 590, however, in the right position, I think would give these a run for their money. If you did this specific genre, you didn't push them, you didn't overcook it, be close. But then I think these would win. They just have more. These are more. These are exactly as over the top a speaker as you could fucking hope for. In fact, I don't know if I'm ever... Here's the thing. Once you've gone Klipsch RF7, where do you go? Please in the comments below, if you've made it this far into the video. Barring like $50,000, like 12-foot tall ones, you see it shows. And also barring... what's that company that makes the ones that look like spider eyes with all the things? Because that owner is insane. I'm not going to... You know what? Better I don't mention it by name, but there's that company that makes really colorful speakers with a lot of tweeters. Bad News Bears, trying to review anything from them. There have been lawsuits for slander, for just saying that I don't really like these speakers. Slander! Lawsuits, so I don't want to get involved. So no, no. But yeah, like there's not much in the way of like commercial, like JBL, I'm sure makes bigger speakers. They're probably intended for like pro audio, like going behind movie theater screens in actual theaters, which we used to have those. Remember those? Those are great. Oh, and here's the other part. So even though I've got it rebalanced, so to speak, it's sort of like what I did. I just rebalanced the tweeter to the woofers. Even though I've got it rebalanced so that there's a little less coming from up here, as long as you do it politely, is what the word I will say. When you put on something like Evangelion 111, Dans des Lucielos, whatever, from 111. It's just delicate enough. Like you get that like, ooh, horns. Whereas that little tweeter on like the triangles has to project pretty violently to get like out there to like 12 feet away from you. I think I'm in a 9-foot triangle here is what I'm looking at. I could remeasure it, but I think that's what it is. So 9-foot triangle, effortlessly playing like the smallest little details. I don't want to just be like, oh, they're bass cannons, they're bass cannons. There is some finesse to these speakers that is worthy of their cost. Oh my God, over-recorded. I love FLCL. It's great anime. The fucking soundtrack by The Pillows, though, can go to hell. I love the soundtrack. It just needs to be unfucktified. You see this brick wall? That's called the brick wall when there's no dynamic range. It's just loud. Everything's loud. I hate it. I hate that because I'd love to listen to that song. Today was the release of the Shape of Sound video, so you know exactly how close I am from releasing this publicly to that. If I had to fucking show you the Shape of Sound with these speakers, it would just be like staring into the sun and trying to take a picture. It'd be this blinding white light of there's just sound fucking everywhere. It's just his wall. It's a giant, is it up? Yes. Is it down? Yes. Is it behind it? Yes. Do we have imaging in this? Perfect. Perfectly. Here's the thing about horns. When horns image and you have them set up right and you angle them properly, they image as good as anything else. When I did those speakers down here, they were like 2.5 feet closer together. I wouldn't put those white speakers this far out and this far away. They need to be a little closer, a little more intimate. There's a space, there's a perfect space, and there's a perfect volume for every speaker. I talked about that in the beginning of the 580 review. If you didn't see my JBL 580 review, I filmed that earlier today upstairs. I got to bring those speakers down here. And I talked about there being a perfect level for speakers, like where it's just everything's tuned perfectly. And for some reason, well, I know why, because people live in houses and they're normal. Klipsch tunes their speakers to be their best at like 85, 90 decibels. Just perfect. They're great. As soon as you're me, or any real home theater enthusiast who's gonna be like, oh, I've got guests, time to kill them, and you turn it up, you have to consider the fact you may have to either put a resistor in line on the tweeter, just to let it the fuck down. Just a little bit down. I need a knob, like right, click. And then put this down a little bit. And then they are a tremendous force to be reckoned with. I wouldn't demo these at like a show, at like RMAF or something, without biamping them and lowering the tweeters just a little bit. It's just the way I run. I run a hot show. Here, hold on. I said hot 3 times. Here's a song called Searing Heat. Let's do that one. This is all epic score, by the way. If you're gonna run it at this sort of levels, you need now these will disturb your soul. That's how these speakers sound. Because once you've tamed the tweeter a little bit and you can let it have it, you can feed as much power as you want to those 10s and then just let it balance out. And then you're perfect. These are perfect fucking speakers. These are absolutely dynamite in the sack. Which is why I still use Heresies permanently in my home theater down here. Basement theater. Basement home theater. I won't dare call this a man cave. This is all, the whole house is my cave. I will make a woman's womb. She has that womb over there. But I will have the man house. There's a reason I have those Klipsch Heresies over there in my home theater, because when you tune them right, when you spend enough time just to concentrate on that little bit of tweaking that you might have to do behind the scenes to get them to the volumes you want, Klipsch makes some of the best speakers in the world. It's just it. And these being the top of the line, I'm glad I didn't do like some mid-range. I just want it. Give it to me. Give it all to me. I want it all. This is it. This is as big as you can make it. Cool. Let's go with it. After these sorts of speakers, there's nothing Klipsch makes bigger other than the ones I was talking about. The why can't I remember any of their names? Every time I think about it. The Cornwalls, things like that. Remember the name. They're the ones that mount like in a corner where you have to put the whole speaker in the corner and there's a huge curved horn. Those are the ones that are like, okay, power with a tube, never take the decibels above like 81 and just sit there naked, covered in fur, like furs of animals, and just that's retirement level speakers. I feel like these speakers are tuned more towards people like me. We're young boomers or old zoomers. I don't know how that shit works. Someone tell me in the comments. But we want to have fun and we want a little bit of class. Just enough like Triangle. That's a little bit more towards like the Mercedes S-Class driver. And these are more for the guy who's got a $95,000 pickup truck, who's, you know, Hope, Arkansas, American flag, rocking and fucking rolling, but every once in a while, he wants to invite his brother-in-law over, who's, you know, some executive and something, and he wants to show him the fuck up with his Klipsch fucking speakers. So that's how I'm feeling with these. These feel like they are the top of the line fun speaker. And that's, if that isn't a Zeos thing, then there is no such thing as a Zeos thing. Fucking Bach. You know, this is, You know what? I kind of want to open an Italian restaurant. I'm going to just dictate the menu. I want to set the decor, and I want to put Klipsch RF7 III somewhere in the restaurant and just blast Bach all day long. You won't be able to have a conversation. It'll be fantastic. Everyone will be yelling. I think I can't overstate the goodness of these speakers and the little tiny flaw. Look, Victor, I get it. You missed it. It's fine. I forgive you. The world forgives you. Klipsch forgives you. Please forgive him. Don't fire Victor. But these speakers with this finish, by the way, which the only thing I mentioned that this is a real veneer. This is wood. This is real wood. And it's not even sealed very well. So you can actually feel the grain. Oh. These are what sex is. If you're into I was going to say into big women, then these are your speaker. But no, you could be into anything and these are your speaker. You could be into anything and these are your speaker. Because these deliver. So yeah, I'm done. Before I go into more weird analogies, sex and drugs and rock and roll. These are certainly rock and roll speakers. We'll do one more track shuffle, and then I'm done. And then I'll talk about Patreon and Subscribe Star. Tombstone. Perfect movie, by the way. No, not Beatles. Childish Gambino's California. Why don't I know this song? I know all his songs. Skip forward. Hold on. Sorry, I'm abusing my time. Yeah. These are the biggest. These are certainly the biggest speakers. These even make the ohms sound small, and the ohms use the room. So there you go. Can't answer more praise than that. Links to these in the description. A thank you to Klipsch for sending them out for review. Check out my Patreon and Subscribe Star. You'll get to see these videos early, sometimes really early, sometimes a few days before the release, depending on what my schedule looks like. You get to comment on the videos there. You get to comment on the videos on YouTube early because you have access to them early. You get to participate in the yard sales. The yard sale, which I have no stuff, actually the whole shelf here. Yard sale stuff goes on this shelf. The Sandavo, the Valley 2, this little X Duo, that Art Hibby, these FIO FH3s, all this stuff like this. As I'm done reviewing, it's okay. Do I really need an extra set of IMs? All here, yard sales, 1st to the 10th of every month. Name your price starting at $0. I pay shipping United States. It's 1/3 shipping for you international. After that, after the two $5 benefits, the $10 Telegram tier. $10 Telegram tier exists on Subscribe Star or Patreon. You get into a behind-the-scenes private Telegram chat with me and all the other crazy people who decided to throw $10 a month, and we will all answer your questions. We are a community. We're not even we're like a gang of people who hate your wallet. We hate it. It's stupid freaking wallet all full of money and stuff. We'll fix that. We'll fix that good. More so than these videos do on their own. Like it's because it's constant. Once you've paid for a chat to be in, you're kind of concerned by it. And everything that's said, and it's like, oh, I should buy this. How much? $5,000. That's barely one kidney. Let's just sell a kidney. So yeah, if you want the $10 chat, that's available. Don't forget to check out Hi-Fi Guides and the Hi-Fi Guides forum. There are big updates coming for the forum and things around it. And Hi-Fi Guides, we finally got to redo it. I know we're going to redo it before Christmas, but life happens, man. I'm done. No. Cake, sick of you. One more. I'm just going to sit here listening to music because that's what these speakers are kind of for. They're for music or movies or soundtracks or VTubers. It's whatever you want. These will do them the most. And I'll see you tomorrow for the sound demo. In fact, I've got to set up the sound demo recording and then listen to music and then do that. And then I'll be done. I'll see you tomorrow for that, though, right there.